Welcome everybody. I'm delighted that you're here zooming around the world together. It's such a beautiful event. I'm delighted to be a part of it, and thank you for creating it together. Today, I'm planning to do a class where I will be using 2 yoga blocks and a belt. And if you want to do shoulder stand, I love using blankets for shoulder stand. Nothing is required in this class. Imagining the poses, sitting on your mat is an excellent way to participate. If there's anything you don't feel like doing or you'd like to do a modification of anything, I really support people in class to tune into their own breath, their own rhythm, and to make the class work for them. So if you have blocks and a belt, I highly recommend taking a moment to get them now. Looks like either everybody has them or you don't have them and you're just happy to carry on. So we'll just carry on. So I'm going to start by putting the blocks at the top of my mat. So I have them there on their highest aspect. And we're going to start by standing in mountain pose, Tadasana. So please stand on your 2 feet with your feet lined up under your hips. So you can place your hands on your hips and notice if your left or right hand is higher than the other as you press down on these top big bones of your hips, the top of the pelvis, and feel your legs beneath you with your pelvis centered over them. And then you can bring your fingertips to your shoulders and bring your elbows backwards, opening your chest. And feel your shoulders align now over your pelvis, over your feet. And then you can release your arms down, feeling the weightiness of your arms as you extend them, and then turning, internally rotating with your palms facing down, reach your arms down towards the earth, as if you were pressing the air downwards. Now we stand here, let's align the head. So we have ourselves stacked, our feet, our pelvis, shoulders, and then the head moves back generally. For most of us, we're a very forward-headed culture now, especially with all the screens we're always looking at. So pull your head backwards by the base of your skull. The base of the skull is called the occiput. You can put your finger there if you want, and just gently press that backwards, as if you were in your car and you were gently moving your head back towards the headrest in your car. And then release the hand down, the arm down. Again, drop the shoulders and the shoulder blades on your back down towards your pelvis, down towards the floor. Take a moment to bring your awareness to your feet and imagine every cell of the skin of your feet, like a puzzle. Every cell bumps into the other cell. And if you could imagine every cell on the soles of your feet having a little root going down into the earth. See if you can get the most cells onto the floor. So see if you can reach your little toes out to the sides, so that you can flatten them as much as possible, getting as many of those cells rooted down into the earth. And then do that with every toe, reaching them forward and pressing them gently into the earth. And then the cells of the balls of the feet, reaching them down into the earth, planting your feet firmly. And the arch, you're actually going to lift up. So those roots have to be long. The arches lift up, but the roots go down. And then the heels spread. See if you can anchor, ground the very back of your heels. And notice then what that does to your legs. For me, it energizes my legs. So I want you to exaggerate that. As you press those roots, your cells of your feet into the floor, you notice that the legs start to get firm, start to get strong, the muscles activate. And then I want to continue that activation from the legs moving up, where we're altering our relationship with gravity as we do yoga. Gravity has a tendency to wear us a little bit downwards, right? The aging process, kind of we surrender to gravity in not such a beautiful way. I think of an older person walking with a cane and kind of collapse to gravity. So yoga is this beautiful gift. We have a tool to help us alter, to work with our relationship with energy and gravity. Gravity is just energy drawing down from the heavens to the earth. So if we can draw energy up from the earth to draw our spine up towards the sky, we're perhaps in right relationship with the energy, the gravitational force and the earth's energy. So to continue that process, we're grounding down into the earth. We're kind of embracing the earth's energy. We're dancing with the earth's energy. And then this lifting comes starting from the pelvic floor. The pelvic floor is this amazing network of muscles that form a hammock from front to back and from side to side. So from the pubic bone to the coccyx creates a hammock of muscles. And from each sits bones, you can reach back and feel these sitting bones, the two bones at the base of your pelvis, they also connect to create a beautiful support for our vital organs, right? This area is where our vital organs are. We need everything in here to survive, but there's not a whole lot of protection, right? It also gives us our flexibility. That's where we're most flexible, is in our spine, our snake-like spine. So it's our job in our relationship with gravity, heaven's force, earth's force, to engage and protect and have right relationship by having this upward energy in our torso. So as our feet ground down into the earth, activating the legs, let's now focus on lifting the spine without tensing the shoulders. So the shoulders reach down, the shoulder blades drop down towards the floor. And as I spoke about the pelvic floor, I want to now give you some information about how the pelvic floor relates to this other amazing muscle, which is our diaphragm. So the diaphragm is what pumps the lungs up and down. And the diaphragm, do we ever say, oh my gosh, my diaphragm's so tired, I've been breathing all day? Like, it's an incredible muscle that just works for us all the time, and it's automatic. But we also can work with it and control it, as we know from the art of pranayama. We're controlling our breath. So it's an amazing, amazing muscle, and the lungs are an incredible function that we have. So as the diaphragm goes up, naturally the pressure in this abdominal cavity draws the pelvic floor up. And as the diaphragm moves down, as we take a deep breath, the pelvic floor naturally relaxes. So the pelvic floor relaxes as we actively press the diaphragm down by taking a big, big breath. And then when we exhale, the diaphragm just relaxes on an exhale, and we can activate the pelvic floor by drawing upwards on our exhalation. So I want you to focus on that as much as you can throughout the whole class, is that relationship. They work like pistons, right? They go up and they go down at the same time. The diaphragm here and the pelvic floor, up and down. So we're gonna play with that by tuning into our breath. So I like to externally rotate my arms because that's gonna open the front of the chest. And again, our culture, we're very keyboard focused, front focused. We tend to shorten here. So anything we can do to open this. So externally rotating the shoulders by bringing the palms up towards the ceiling helps me create space in the front of my chest. So I'm going to do that. And as I keep my shoulders externally rotated, I'm going to allow my inner arms, my forearms, to rotate inwards. It is a little exaggerated. I'm drawing my shoulders back, slightly squeezing the shoulder blades. And then what happens with your abdomen? For many of us, it kind of dives forward. And so I want you to think of your belly button moving back towards the back of your body slightly. And you'll notice what that does to your pelvis. You start to engage your glutes perhaps a little bit, your buttocks muscles. So now as we think of the inhalation, let's raise the arms up. So let's first exhale together and then inhale, raise the arms up. Exhale, we're going to press the air down as we draw the pelvic floor upwards with our exhalation. And even pause as we exhale and lift. And then inhale, palms up, reaching the arms up. Exhale, palms down, lifting the pelvic floor. Do you know those corkscrews that have levers that go up, and as you press it down, the spiral drills the cork up? That's the image I like to think of. So I'm inhaling my arms up. I'm pressing, actively pressing the air down with my arms and imagining the corkscrew drawing the pelvic floor up towards the crown of the head. Inhaling up, exhaling downwards. So play with that concept of drawing the pelvic floor up with each exhalation. Anybody have any questions? It's a lot of information, but I think that's a key to yoga. That's called Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. So Mula Bandha is the root. Mula means root in Hindi. Mula Bandha is drawing the base of the perineum between the genitals and the anus upwards. And Uddiyana Bandha is flying upwards. And that's 2 inches below your belly button, drawing backwards. So when we do those actions, those two forces, we're drawing the pelvic floor up. And you know you're doing it if you start to feel like you want to clench your gluteal muscles, your buttocks muscles, but try to relax them. You're doing it too much. You don't want to tense the gluteal muscles. You just want to lift the pelvic floor and then relax it with the inhalation. Okay, so let's turn to face our blocks now that are in front of you if you have them. If you don't have blocks, you could use a chair if you'd like, or you could use the wall, face a wall. And I'll demonstrate what we're gonna do. We're gonna inhale the arms up. We're gonna exhale, we're going to flex the hips to come forward and place our hands on our blocks. So we're in half Uttanasana. And I'm working here to keep my spine long. So the sits bones and the crown of the head are stretching away from each other. My shoulders are externally rotating, so I'm rolling my arms outwards as I place them down on the highest level of my blocks. And I'm in half intensive forward stretch, Uttanasana. So again, my palms are pressing into the blocks, my upper arms are rotating outwards, I'm stretching the sits bones backwards and the crown of the head upwards, and I'm continuing to practice those two energetic lifts. On the exhalation, I'm drawing the pelvic floor up and finding length in my spine. So you can reach back and see as your sacrum level. How does it feel? Good. And then adjust your blocks, and we're going to raise one leg. So you can just watch and think about it first before you do it. So you're imagining you're stretching one leg backwards, bringing it to horizontal. So as I do that, I need to lift off the standing leg hip and keep the pelvis level, stretching the top leg backwards, like so. And I'm actually going to adjust back a little bit because I don't have enough space, because I have my right leg lifted, I'm going to extend the left arm. So I will talk you through that all together. So face your blocks if you have them. Take a breath in, inhaling, stretch your arms up. Exhaling, fold forward, reaching for the blocks or a chair or the floor. Excellent. Place your hands on the block. Take a moment to extend the tailbone backwards, the crown of the head forward, drawing the abdomen in towards you. And then let's all extend the right leg. Reaching, beautiful, reaching the right leg backwards. Excellent. And you want to drop that top right hip and draw the left hip back towards the right foot. The top of the left leg moves back towards the back foot. Excellent. And now if you'd like to, you can lift your left arm and stretch it forward. Now you're creating a dynamic stretch between the left fingertips and the right heel and ball of the foot as you stretch backwards. Beautiful. Very nice. Good. Take a couple of breaths there and then lower the arm and lower the right leg. Find your center, finding balance in the middle. And then when you're ready with an inhalation, stretch the left leg back, balancing on the right leg, raising the left leg up, pressing the back leg back, reaching the right arm up, stretching the fingertips away. Excellent. Reaching back, finding maximum length in your spine, seeing if you can, with the exhalations, create that dynamic lift in your abdomen and the base of the spine, the base of the perineum, the pelvic floor. Lengthen, breathe, and then release the leg and release the arm. And find your center. And coming up, just before you lift up, let's bring the weight back to our feet. Let's engage the abdomen strongly. Bring the hands to the waist. Draw the hips backwards. Draw the shoulder blades backwards. Keep the neck long. And inhaling, come all the way up to standing with a straight spine. Good. Excellent. Let's now face forward again and come back to Tadasana, mountain pose. And this time, let's bring the feet together. And we're going to do a balancing pose called Vrikshasana, or tree pose. So we'll start by balancing on, I'll mirror you. So we're going to start by balancing on the left leg. And there are all kinds of variations. You can just come onto your right toes if you want and bring your weight to the right leg. Sorry, you're balancing on your left leg and the toes of the right foot are pressing into the floor. If you want to move further into the pose, you can bring the sole of the right foot right against the standing left leg. And moving deeper into the full pose would be bringing the right leg up as high as you can towards the perineum. And balancing poses are meant to be light and fun. You should smile when you do balancing poses, especially as you fall. We all hopefully have walls near us. Nobody's going to get hurt. If you watch children do balancing pose, the funnest part is falling. So don't be afraid to fall. Learning how to fall gracefully is really the secret to a happy life, I think, because we all fall down in everything we do once in a while. So balance on your left leg. Let's now press the palms together. Press the inner right foot into your strong left leg. Feel the palms pressing together, opening the chest. Draw this front chest wide as you press the palms together. And then let's widen the chest even more as we stretch the arms out to the side. And if you'd like, up overhead with the elbows straight. So the arms can be separate. If the elbows can stay straight while the palms come together, reach up towards the sky, pressing the foot into the leg, pressing the standing foot into the floor. Imagine those roots again. See if you can root down through that left leg to reach up. See if you can engage the base of pelvis here with your exhalations. And then let's slowly lower the arms and bring the palms back together and then lower the right leg down and find our balance again. You can take a moment and shut your eyes. A more relaxed Tadasana, just feeling the stacked pelvis over the feet, shoulders over the pelvis, head stacked over the pelvis. A couple of deep inhalations and deep exhalations. And then let's bring the feet back together. Coming back to a more active Tadasana, grounding our roots down into the earth, activating our legs, drawing the abdomen back, lifting the pelvic floor, and then shifting the weight onto your right leg, bringing perhaps just the toes of the left leg up and doing the pose from here. Or if you like, the sole of the foot right against your ankle of your right leg. If you want to go deeper into the pose, draw the leg up very high into the perineum and press the palms together. Notice the difference standing on your right leg. Find that extension from the sole of the foot, rooting into the earth, to the crown of the head, rising to the heavens. And bring the arms up. Drawing the energy all the way up. Lift the pelvic floor by pressing the palms together and lifting upwards. Lift the energy from the sole of the foot by shooting the fingertips up towards the sky. Lifting up, stretching up, lengthening. One more breath, maximum stretch, and then exhale, float the arms downwards, bring the palms together, and lower the leg down, coming back to a more relaxed Tadasana. You can shut your eyes, allow your breath to deepen, feel your weight like a sandbag, gently loading the legs as your head, shoulders, and torso become lighter and you're balancing over your legs. Relax your jaw. Take a moment and release the jaw. When we work the hips and the legs, we sometimes hold tension in our jaw. Good. We're going to move now down to the floor. So take one of your blocks and place it on the medium. Actually, let's use both. Take both your blocks, place them on the medium height, and we're going to place our elbows on the blocks. So the blocks are shoulder width apart. My elbows are going to go right on the blocks. My palms are going to come together. And I'm going to bring my hips backwards, opening the shoulders. So we're preparing for doing some inversions by lengthening our shoulders. Finding that range of motion in the shoulders. So I'm actually collapsing the armpits down towards the floor and reaching the sits bones back, engaging the abdominal muscles. You can relax your head down towards the floor. As you press the palms together, pressing the palms together will open the shoulders and externally rotate the shoulders. Actively press the hands together to broaden the shoulders, right? As the hands move in, the shoulders want to move wider. So you're opening that front chest more and more. Take a couple of breaths here. And then see if you can come to an extended version of this. We're not collapsing the shoulders down towards the floor, but you're creating a straight line from the elbows, reaching back towards the hips, engaging the abdomen, creating maximum length from the elbows to the sits bones. So stretching through the shoulders as opposed to down towards the floor, lengthen the shoulder joint. Good. And slowly come forward, walk in with your knees, place one block out of the way, place the other block right against the wall. If you have a wall nearby, place your block against the wall, and you're going to place your elbows, your whole forearms down onto the floor. So we're going to do a pose where the block is in between my thumb and index finger, and my elbows are on the floor, shoulder width apart. So I'm going to set up for that by starting with my palms up and the elbows slightly closer, and then I'm going to roll my palms down, slide the elbows out a little bit. And then I can stretch back, rest my head on the floor, and find that same extension from the elbows to the sits bones. So it's a gentle version of downward dog for the spine. Find that abdominal lift as you reach the hips backwards. And then we're going to play with, if you'd like to, coming up towards an inversion. So to come up, we're going to swing one leg and hop off the front leg. And you can alternate legs. So one knee is bent forward, the other leg is extended back and swinging upwards. And you may find that you feel the wall as you alternate kicking up. And if you don't feel the wall, just have fun doing these kind of donkey kicks. Excellent, very nice. And if you are able to get all the way up, you're in a wonderful position to feel that lift in the pelvic floor, because now gravity is working to your advantage. So you're able on the exhalations to feel the pelvic floor literally drop towards the crown of the head, but it's a lifting action because we're upside down. Good. Take one more breath there, and then see how slowly and quietly you can come down. Bringing the legs down, and always after an inversion, you want to keep your head low. So come into child's pose. Take 5 breaths in child's pose as you rest and relax after an inversion. Good. So being upside down is very powerful to change our mindset and to change our relationship with gravity. So I'd like to repeat that once more. So if you're able to come up into front arm balance, you can do that. Looks like it's hard to know where everybody's at. Like we've lost a few. But Dana, you're with me. I don't know if Sylvia is following along as well. So let's one more time do front arm balance against the wall or in the middle of the room if you want, Dana. And as you come up and become inverted, see if you can create length from the elbows to the crown of the feet. So you can kick up. Excellent. It's a great pose to work on finding your balance because you have such a broad base. Excellent. Good. And now lengthen the low back. This pose, it's very easy. And then rest. You don't have to come back up. You can rest. Okay. Good. So squeeze the legs together. Squeeze the legs together and lengthen the lumbar. Yes, beautiful. Reach the tailbone up towards the sky and rest in child's pose. Nicely done. Take 5 breaths in child's pose. And now while we're against the wall, let's move to Vrikshasana. Which is Urdhva Vrikshasana is inverted tree pose. So that's handstand, full arm balance. So it's important to notice that if this pose is challenging, if there's limitation in the shoulder opening, in the shoulder flexion, this is extension of the shoulder. So we're flexing our shoulders here. Don't attempt handstand, which demands us to be in this position. If this position is uncomfortable vertically, there's no reason to go upside down. So for those of you who find it difficult to be in an overhead position, come back to working on half Uttanasana with the blocks, where you're externally rotating the shoulders and working on lengthening the spine. If you want to move into Vrikshasana, Urdhva Vrikshasana, you're going to have your fingertips about a hand's distance from the wall and come into downward dog pose. And then just like we did before, we're going to swing one leg and hop off the other leg. And I want you to do that a few times, alternating legs. So bringing the left foot forward, swinging the right leg up, bringing the right foot forward, hopping off the right leg, swinging the left leg up, and alternating back and forth a number of times. And it's fine if you don't get all the way up. That's the practice today, is just practicing kicking up. If you arrive in Urdhva Vrikshasana, focus on the pelvic floor. We'll take 5 deep inhalations, 5 deep exhalations, drawing the pelvic floor towards the head as we exhale. Squeezing the legs together, reaching the soles of the feet towards the sky. And then coming down, bending the knees, slowly, slowly, slowly releasing down and coming into either a squatting pose with the palms up. So I like to rest from handstand in this position, dropping my head, relaxing the head. If it's difficult to squat with your heels on the ground, you can roll up your mat very easily, place that under your heels, and then squat down, releasing the arms, releasing the head, restoring and re-energizing after inversion. So then with our refreshed energy, you can come back and once more with your non-dominant leg, the leg that you don't usually kick up with, see if you can practice kicking up and reaching up, coming back to Urdhva Vrikshasana, squeezing the legs together, reaching the soles of the feet towards the sky, pressing the palms. Now, every cell of the palms roots down into the floor. Every fingertip pad roots down into the floor, reaching the feet up towards the heavens. Allowing the pelvic floor and the exhalations to move toward the crown of the head, and then bending the knees slowly, slowly, slowly with control, coming down into a squatting pose, having the palms up and the head dropped. Resting the wrists, resting the forearms, resting the head. Good. So now we're going to learn Shirshasana. Headstand is one of the most beneficial yoga poses, but it's a very delicate pose because our spinal column has very large vertebrae in the lumbar and slightly smaller in the thoracic, and then the smallest ones are our cervical vertebrae. So the idea of putting our weight upside down, balancing on the head, is very important to protect these small vertebrae in our neck. So I teach Shirshasana headstand with no weight on the head. The head is just touching the floor as if you could slide a piece of paper under your head. It's hardly touching the floor. Maybe you couldn't slide a piece of paper, but you're not putting weight on your head. So we can prepare for that. You don't have to go into headstand if you don't want to. We can work against the wall. So the setup for headstand is you're going to interlock your fingers, and you can do it an alternate way if you'd like than you're usually interlocking your fingers. It's always good to create different neural pathways by changing our habitual ways of working. So interlocking your fingers, bringing the lowest little finger inside towards the palms, and then having your elbows shoulder width apart. So this is what it's going to look like against the floor. So my little finger is brought inside, my elbows are shoulder width apart, and very importantly, my wrists are not collapsed inwards, they're vertical. So now I'm going to place that on the ground, and once I place my elbows on the ground, it's as if I'm karate chopping the floor. I'm active with my arms. So I'm going to place my knuckles right against the wall. So I'm going to come here, my knuckles are going to go right against the wall, my elbows are shoulder width apart, and my wrists are vertical. And I have space for the back of my head to rest on the pads of my thumb pads, the base of my thumb, the inner wrist. So I place my head down, and right away I'm lifting my shoulders up, so there's no weight on my head. The work we did in front arm balance helped us open those shoulders. So then I can walk in, keeping the weight all on my elbows, not on my head, bend my knees, and either just stay right here, pressing the elbows into the floor, lifting the hips up, no weight on the head, or if I feel strong, I can press the arms into the floor and bring the legs up. So I can easily lift my head off the floor if I need to. So there's no weight on my head. I can balance in this pose, squeezing the legs together, lifting the pelvic floor towards the crown of the head. So I'm activating my core. I can help you with that if anybody needs some guidance or has any questions. In headstand, looks like you're there, Dana, beautiful. If anybody else wants any support, let me know. Good, so while you're in headstand, feel the connection. Your roots now are through the forearms, actively pushing into the floor. Aligning the shoulders over the elbows, pelvis over the shoulders, drawing the abdomen in as the pelvic floor now moves towards the crown of the head, and pressing the soles of the feet, those rays of energy. The roots now become rays of energy drawing up towards the heavens. Beautiful. Take a few more deep inhalations and deep exhalations in shoulder stand. Sorry, headstand. I'm thinking about the next pose. Good. Beautiful. It looks like, Dana, you're very capable to lower your right leg to horizontal, as we did in half Uttanasana. Beautiful. Try to keep the left leg vertical. Don't let it go behind you. Good. Lower the leg just to parallel. So it's a variation of Vera 1, really. Good. Pressing out through both legs, straighten the backs of the knees. Lovely. And then inhaling back up. Finding center, squeezing the legs together. And then when you're ready, bringing the left leg down to horizontal, extending out through the leg that's in flexion. Good. Yeah. Flex that hip, stretch out to parallel, and extend the opposite hip. Beautiful. Good. Stretch through both legs, radiate the energy out, and then draw the leg back up. Squeeze the legs together, and then slowly bending the knees, coming down as slowly as you can to child's pose. Nice. And take 5 deep inhalations when you get to child's pose, bringing the arms by the sides, relaxing completely. Soften your jaw, relax the area between the shoulder blades, the trapezius muscle at the top of the shoulders. Soften and broaden. With each inhalation, draw the rib cage sideways towards the inner thighs. And exhale, soften and release into the floor. Allow the earth to support you. Good. And then slowly coming up to kneeling, sitting up. We're going to prepare our blankets. And if you have a belt, for shoulder stand. So I've got a nice firm stack of blankets that I use. And I like to have a belt that is the size of my shoulders, so I can stretch my arms forward and have my arms parallel, and the belt holds my arms together, which will help me lift my spine up in shoulder stand. So shoulder stand is another pose where we have to be very careful of our delicate neck. So I like to use a stack of blankets that you can see, a firm stack of blankets, and I have them slightly stair-stepped. So I actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 folded mats here. They're not big blankets, they're cotton yoga mats. So I have a nice firm platform, and I'm going to have my belt over one arm as I go into the pose. I'm going to lie down over my stack of blankets, move the hair out of the way, make sure I have a nice clean connection, and that my shoulders are about an inch back from the edge of my stack of blankets, because as I kick my legs over, I'm going to naturally move slightly towards the edge of the blankets. As soon as I have my legs over my head, I'm going to reach my arms under me and stretch them back. I've interlocked my fingers and I'm stretching my arms backwards. Then I can take my belt and place both arms in it and have the belt right above the shoulders. I like to draw my shirt down so that I can have my hands as low down as I can get them on my bare skin, bend the knees, and come up to a nice straight shoulder stand. So this inversion should feel very comfortable, supported. My neck is relaxed. I don't want to turn my neck left or right. I'm going to squeeze my legs together, press up through the heels and the balls of the feet, and focus on my breath, engaging the pelvic floor towards the floor, towards the head as I exhale. Using gravity to help me practice Mula Bandha and Uddiyana Bandha. Reaching the feet up as I walk my hands lower on my back, getting higher and higher on my shoulders. Making sure my neck is relaxed, my throat is relaxed, my eyes are soft. And you can stay in this for a few more breaths. Come down. We'll join you back in Halasana in a couple of minutes. Good. Very nice. Soften your face, soften your jaw, relax your neck. Let the weight be in the shoulders, not the head. Have weight in your hands. Continue to work the hands lower and lower on your back as you create the energy shooting up through the legs, through the soles of the feet, pressing the balls of the feet and the heels up towards the sky. Squeeze the legs together, draw the little toes down towards your face. Activate the feet. Good. And then folding, flexing at the hips, bring the feet down to come into Halasana, plow pose. Relax the feet on the floor. You can release the belt if you'd like and stretch the arms, bringing them over your head on the floor. You can relax the arms by the head and bend the knees, coming into Karnapindasana. Knee to ear pose. Good. And this push should be relaxing. If you want, you can put your hands on your calves to add a little more weight. And this is a beautiful restorative pose, very calming and relaxing. And when you're ready, come out of this very, very slowly, unrolling the spine as if you were placing a necklace on the ground, one bead at a time. Each vertebrae is like a bead of a necklace, unraveling, being lowered down onto the floor. Good. And we'll come all the way down. And then you can bring your feet down to the floor and slide towards your head, coming off the blanket. So just your pelvis. It's actually, you can go slowly and you can enjoy having your back supported as your shoulders come all the way down, but the shoulder blades are still on the mat, on the stack of blankets. And then eventually you can slide all the way so just your hips are supported by your blankets. And then again, extend the legs up towards the sky, coming into Viparita Karani, a really relaxing pose. So straighten the legs straight up towards the sky. The pelvis is supported by the blankets and your legs are vertical. And we're gonna take just a couple of breaths here, and then we're gonna move this form just like that, where we're supporting the legs against the wall. So the pelvis is high. So this is the most accessible inversion for everyone to do, is Viparita Karani. It's a passive inversion. So you can slowly lower the legs, roll to one side to come off of the blankets. And then let's move towards the wall with one block. So the setup for this pose, getting into it is the most challenging part. Being in it is very passive and enjoyable. So you can place a blanket over your block just to make it more comfortable. And then I'm going to have the block slightly more than a fist distance, maybe even 2 fists away from the wall. And you'll be able to adjust it. And you can see I have my block about 2 fists away from the wall or so. And I'm going to place one firm blanket over it. And then to get into the pose, I'm going to sit sideways with one hip right against the wall. Then I'm going to use my hands to keep my butt as close to the wall as I can. So you can see I've inched it so now my sits bones are right against the wall. And I'm going to try to maintain that. And flexibility in your legs is what helps you maintain that. So as I lower myself down, my sits bones will fall away from the wall a little bit. I can use my elbows to lift myself up and scooch towards the wall. Then I can adjust, where do I want this block exactly? I want it right under my sacrum. So there's a sense that the tip of your sacrum is falling off the block towards the wall. So it's a delicate, there we go. It's like the princess and the pea. You got to get it just right. Right height, right location. And then in this pose, if you want, you can use a belt. Mine does not seem to be close enough, so I'm not going to worry about it. But you could cinch your legs right above the knees to make it even more relaxing, and then relax the arms overhead, shut your eyes, and this can be a very, very relaxing way to end your practice or to be your practice. If you're feeling tired and you want to invigorate yourself in a passive way or relax yourself in a passive way, I think of this pose as an adaptogen. It gives you what you need. You can gently extend your neck, slightly tucking your chin, relax your hands, relax your face, relax your jaw. So you're welcome to stay in this pose. Till the end of the class if you'd like, or you can roll out and you can come to Shavasana, corpse pose, using your stack of blankets, simply fold it in half the long way. So a long lateral roll of the blankets, making a beautiful, nice blanket roll. Make sure you have room for your arms out to the side, which in this setup with the camera, I'm not going to do. I'm just going to leave it like this. And I can set myself up for Shavasana where my knees are right over the blanket roll. My pelvis is moving towards the blanket. So I'm lifting my hips up and doing a pelvic tilt, moving the tailbone towards the blankets, coming down onto my elbows, drawing my shoulder blades down towards the blankets, lifting the pelvis again and stretching my sacrum towards the blankets, and then releasing and relaxing. And once I've found a comfortable place, I'm going to be totally still. Soften my breath. Relax any control of the pelvic floor and just observe it. in total stillness, allowing your body to deeply relax, lying flat on your back, soften, release, and let go. We've got nice time to take a few minutes. If you want to join us, you can lie flat on your back and come into Shavasana, corpse pose, where we totally surrender to the earth, allowing the weight of the body to be held by the earth, softening every cell, allowing ourselves to gently expand, to kick up a little more space as they release any tension. You can start by focusing on the gross skin of the face. Not that your face is gross, but it's a bigger area. Your beautiful face, relax the skin, allowing the eyes to drop back in the eye socket. Softening the ears, allowing the ears to move deeper into the skull. Relaxing the jaw, allowing the lips to gently separate. Softening the skin of your face. Totally relaxing your forehead and the scalp. Feeling the back of your head resting into the floor. Allow your head to be weighty. All that weight that we hold up all day long now can be held by the earth, surrendering and softening. And then allow your limbs to relax and be heavy, feeling the weightiness of your left and right leg, your left and right arm, as if they were gently falling away from the hips and the shoulders, allowing there to be a spaciousness in the shoulder joints and the hip joints. Feeling the weightiness of the arms and the legs. Softening and releasing. And allow your belly to be totally soft and open. Feeling a spaciousness and ease, as if the energy in the blood can flow more freely. Allowing the lungs to fill and empty with ease. Allowing the rib cage to be held by the earth, releasing downward, softening any tension in your inner organs, allowing every cell in your inner organ to release and relax. Relaxing the skin of your abdomen, feeling the contact of the back of your body with the floor. Allowing your whole body to be open and relaxed. Imagining the circulatory system carrying the blood to all the cells of your body, flooding your body with energy. And imagining the lymphatic system, your immune system, circulating freely, unobstructed throughout the whole body, flooding your body with wellness. As you inhale and as you exhale, prana, energy, life force is carried to every cell throughout your entire being. Allow your body to be filled with ease and relaxation, releasing any tension, any holding Allow the breath to melt it away. Bringing your awareness, bringing your imaginary breath to that area. And exhaling any tension away. Continue to bring your attention to every part of your body, allowing your awareness to infuse your entire being. Noticing the pleasurable sensations of relaxation. As your mind may wander away, come back to the awareness of your breath, the awareness of these feelings of relaxation. And then you can slowly start to bring awareness back to the room around you, feeling the temperature, noticing any sounds, perhaps the birds are singing. And you can begin to bring movement to your fingers and your toes. And maybe open your jaw, stretch your face a little. And then take your time, gently roll to one side and support your body to come to a seating position using your arms to help you sit up. Reoriented to gravity, hopefully with a happy relationship. Namaste. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Dana. Nice to have you here. Namaste.